Am I audible? Good evening, one and all. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this online event focused on AutoCAD. We welcome you all for this workshop series. Today, we have the privilege of hosting a wonderful speaker, Abarna, who will share her expertise in this field with us. Abarna is a Essex civil engineering student from CET. She has extensive knowledge and experience in AutoCAD and has completed several projects successfully. We are grateful to have you here with us to impart her knowledge and insights into this topic. Over the over today and tomorrow, she will be conducting classes where we will be covering the basics of AutoCAD as well as providing hands-on training to the participants. Following that, on May 15th, there will be a task discussion where the participants will have the opportunity to showcase their skills and learn from what you have studied within the 2 days. We are confident that everyone will benefit greatly from these sessions and improve their proficiency in AutoCAD. We welcome you, Abarna.
Thank you, Donna. Hi, good evening. I'll share my screen now. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everybody. I am Aparna and I'll be handling this AutoCAD session. So, today we'll be having an introduction about the basic tools and properties and the layout of AutoCAD. And after tomorrow's session, you will have to submit a task, which is actually you need to draw the plan, elevation, and section of a twin house or a semi detached house. A twin house is nothing but it is a structure which comprises of two houses, which is separated by a wall. So the advantage of a twin house is that the rent will be low and it is also easier for maintenance and all. So you need to draw the plan, section, and elevation after today's and tomorrow's session. In tomorrow's session, we'll be drawing the plan, and you need to try and draw the section and elevation from the plan. I'll give a brief idea of how to draw the section and elevation, and we'll have a detailed discussion on the coming day. That is, I think, Monday. So let's start today's session. Um, this is the basic layout of the AutoCAD window. So from the startup menu on the top left corner, I can open a new file. A dialog box appears and the file name is AutoCAD ISO and the type of file is drawing template or DWT. So this is our interface. At the top, we can see the title bar where we can see the name of the software. Below that, we have the menu bar. Under each menu, we have different ribbons. For example, under the home menu, we have ribbon like draw ribbon, modify, annotation, layer, block, etc. So beneath that, we have the drawing area. At the bottom of the drawing area, we can see the command bar where we can type in the command. So then we at the bottom right we have the a set of tools. It is known as the drafting settings. These are very important tools. So we can the com in the we can either type in the command bar. For example, I need to draw a line. Say I can either select from the menu bar and draw a line, or I can type in the command bar and draw a line, or I can use the shortcut key that is L enter and I can draw the line. So there are different ways in which we can draw or select a tool. So it is according to our convenience only. So then we can go into the details like In the first icon in the drafting setting is we can see a grid like icon. It is known as the grid mode. If we turn it off, the grid lines disappears. It is always advised to keep the grid mode on because we can draw lines precisely. Next we have the ortho mode. When my ortho mode is on, I can draw only perpendicular lines, that is vertical and horizontal lines. So in order to draw slanting lines, I need to ensure that my ortho mode is turned off. I need to select line, and now I can draw slanting lines. Now, in order to I can draw a line of specific length as well as angle. For that, I need to select line, and I can specify first point somewhere here. Then I can specify the length of the line as say 400. Then I need to incline it. So I can specify another length, say 300, and press the tab key on the keyboard so that now I can specify the angle. I can specify the angle as 45 degree. So I get a line of length 300 units at an angle 45 degree. So that is all with lines. Now we have polyline. Now I'll tell you about the difference between a line and a polyline. For that, let me draw a rectangle using line. I need to turn on my ortho mode so that I get perpendicular lines. I can see a green square box here because my object snap is on. Object snap and snap reference is on. It helped me identify the endpoints easily, and I also get extension lines, perpendicular lines, etc. So I'm drawing a rectangle. From here, I can get extension lines like this. It helped me draw the rectangle precisely, otherwise my ends won't be joined. Now I can use a rectangle using polyline. Enter. Sorry. Okay. Now if I select the rectangle that I drew using line, I need to select each part like this. Whereas in case of polyline, if I select, it will get selected as a whole. So, and also another advantage of polyline is that I can adjust the width of the line. For that, I need to select it. Then I can type CH and change properties. Then over here, I can change the global thickness to, let's say, 10 units. Now I can see that the thickness of my line has increased. So that is the difference between a line and a polyline. Now, okay, there are different ways we can select the object. I can click at a point and drag it to the right, or I can click at a point and drag it to the left. The difference is that if I click and drag and only half portion of my rectangle is inside the selection window, it won't be get selected if I am dragging it towards the right. Whereas if I am dragging it to the left, even if only half of the rectangle is inside the selection window, my rectangle will get selected. I can also select randomly like this or etc. Then in order to deselect, let's say I select this rectangle, I want to deselect this face. In order to deselect this, I can press shift and then select that side. And in order to deselect this whole rectangle, I can simply press escape. So that's it about selection. Then in order to zoom in and zoom out, I can use the scroll button on the mouse, zoom in and zoom out. Then I can also drag this drawing area. For that, I can click on the scroll button. A hand tool will appear and I can drag it accordingly. So that is about the basics. Then I can delete these unwanted lines. So in drafting settings, we have discussed grid mode, ortho mode, object snap, and we can customize the object snap by clicking on the drop down arrow, endpoint, midpoint. We can select whatever we want according to our drawing. Then, then there is polar tracking. When I use polar tracking, I can draw angles of, like if I select the 3061 and I am drawing line, I need to turn off ortho mode for that. Then 3060 I'm selecting. At an angle of 30, I'll get a green extension line which help me draw angles accurately like this. So that's it about drafting settings. Then we have the basic drawing tools of circle, arc. In circle, we have different specifications, like I can draw a circle and specify this radius. For example, I can have the center over here and radius like this, or I can type in the radius. Let's draw a circle of say 50 units. And then there is arc. In arc also we have different specification. Let's select the start and direction arc. So I can specify the start point, the end point, and the direction. See, AutoCAD is a very user-friendly software. It asks us for the command, so it is very easy for us to use. Another important thing to note while using AutoCAD is that um, if we know some basic tools, anybody can draw any type of figures and all, but the difference comes in the time that we take to draw the figures. The uh, so you can draw big figures within a limited time only if you have good practice. So then we have hatch property over here. It is used to we can have solid hatch, then different patterns of hatch. These are important when we draw this section. Then I can change the color over here. Let's say, and I've selected the solid hatch. You need to have a close boundary in order to hatch a portion. Then we have rectangle. You can draw lines using rectangle also. If you draw using rectangle, you can select it as a whole. And also you can specify the dimensions of rectangle, like after specifying the first point, I can type in the length I want in x direction, let's say 600 units. Then I can use comma and specify the length in y direction, let's say 200. This is my rectangle of length 600 and width 200 units. So then we have the modify ribbon. Here we have lot of tools like move, copy, rotate, mirror, etc. It helps us to modify our drawing, and it is very helpful when we draw the plan and all. We can see later on. Then another important tool is fillet. Fillet, for example, before fillet, let's learn about trim tool. I can draw two lines over here in order to tell about trim tool, and I can trim these portions. Escape. Okay. Now this is an open space. If I want to close it, I can use this fillet tool. If I want to close it using straight lines, I can use this option. I can select first line, second, and then it will be a close figure of straight lines. If I want curved edges, I can use fillet. I can select the first object and second object and I'll get a curved edge. So I can trim off these unwanted lines. I can also use erase option for that. Okay, that's it. Then we have the dimension text. Then you can use this mleader for labeling and all. We'll come to that later. Then we have layer properties, block. Then we can change the color of our line using these change properties. For that I need to select. Then right click. I can change color and all in quick properties. By layer, I can choose any color I want. Uh, Excuse me, can you turn off the audio, please? Bose. Okay, thanks. So by this way, we can change the color. Then coming to block property, it is actually used when we want to draw windows and all. So then let's create a window. I can choose a color I want. I'm drawing a rectangle. Then since my object snap is on, I can easily identify the midpoint of this one. A triangle will appear. Here also the midpoint can be easily identified. Then I can draw an arc, start, end, and direction. Okay, this is an example of a window. But if I select this one, I need to select all the individual lines separately. It is a very tedious process. So for the ease of drawing, I can create this window into a block. For that, I need to select this one and enter block. I can create it as, let's say, W, and I can pick a point as the base point. Then I can click OK. Now I need, if I want to insert it, I can press insert and my window will appear over here. I can just select and click it. It's very easy when you draw plans and all. You'll understand it once we start drawing the plan. So now coming to the dimension. Before dimensioning, you need to set a dimension style. That is the size of the arrow, height of the text, whether you want extension lines or not. For that, you need to select dimension style. Then I can modify it. So I can set the text height to, let's say, 100 units. Let's see whether it works or not. Then the arrow also to 100 units. Then I can suppress the extension lines. Then primary units, I can set the precision to zero point 0.0. Okay. Then set current, close, and I can select dimension. Then again, Now I can dimension this arc by selecting the arc length or the radius one. Select the arc. Okay, and now if I want to change the color of this dimensionings, I can use a layer property. For that I need to create what we have drew till now is belong to the layer 0. So I'm creating a new layer for dimensioning. For that I can create new layer. I can give the name of the layer as, let's say, BIM. Then enter and close this dialog box. Then I can select the dimensions, and from this drop down menu I can select DIM. Now I can change color if I click on the square white box. I can change color. Okay, the color has changed. Sorry, dimension. Sorry, we can create another layer. Create new layer. Let's give it as dimension, and now I can select these dimensionings and select dimension, and I can change color accordingly. So then I can use this M leader to label our things. For example, I can off my ortho mode. Then I can give radius, say, 50. Leader radius 50. This is very small, so I need to select it. Then properties, and I need to change the text height to, let's say, 100 units. So okay, then I can change color if I want, again using change properties. Here color, I can select a different color like that. So these are the basic tools. Now now let's start to draw something which is gonna help us do the task tomorrow. For that, I was planning to draw the plan of the semi-detached house for tomorrow's session. Today we can draw a simple plan of a one-room building, and we can look into the section as well as elevation, so that we can try the section and elevation of the twin house. So before you start drawing, please ensure that your units are set. For that I can type U and enter. I can set the precision to zero point 0, and I can use a millimeter scale, or if you want you can use centimeter scale. Okay, then so we are drawing a one room building. The size of the room is 4000 into 3000, which means that the length is 4000 units and the width of the room is 3000. For that I can use line tool. My ortho mode should be on. I need to change the color of the line. Okay. a line of length 4000 units, very small actually. Then another line downward of unit 3000, and then I can join it. Okay. Now I need to draw the walls. The thickness of the wall is 20 centimeter. So since my unit is in millimeter, I need to convert it into 200 units. Whether I can use offset. Offset is a tool which helps us offset these lines. It is asking for offset distance. Let's specify it as 200 units. And I can offset this 4 lines. Escape. In order to end from a command, I can press escape, right click enter, or I can even press the enter key. Now I need to join these edges. For that, let's use fillet tool. This one. So I am selecting first object, second object. I'm repeating fillet, first object, second object. Likewise, I am joining the all four edges. So this is our room. Now we need to draw the door. So for the door, I'm using this line tool. And from a distance of, let's say, 500 units from the end, I'm drawing my door. Length of my door is 1000 millimeters, that is 100 centimeter. 100 centimeter is the width of the door in the plan view. So 1000 millimeters. And I can join it, and this is my door. Then to give the opening area of the door, I can use the arc. Center, start, end arc. I can give the center over here. Start, end. This is the area my door covers while it opens. I can draw the door, open door over here. I can, in 3-dimension view, I can give the thickness of the door as, let's say, 50 units. Further, I can offset the line, offset 50, and I need to, in order to join this line, I can use extend command, ex, enter, select object to extend. Okay. Now I can trim off the unwanted portions. My door is ready. Now I need to have windows. For that I can use block command. I need to draw the basic window. For that I need to draw a rectangle. The size of the window is 1500 millimeters. So that is the length in plan view. That is the width of the window, 1500. Then the thickness is the thickness of the wall itself, that is 200 units. So then I need to draw a line at the center. Now I can offset this line to a distance of 10 units on both sides. And then I can delete the middle line. So this is my basic window. So I can create a block using that. For that, I am selecting this window, B ender. So I'm giving S window, then pick point over here. Okay. Now I can insert the window. Actually, for this one room building, this is not much important. But for when you draw the twin house plan, we need to draw a lot of windows. There, this block tool is very useful. From insert, I can select the window I created. Now I can place it. I want a window over here. Then I can let's say I can give the rotation angle as 90-degree and select the window so that I get vertical window. I can place it over here. Again 90-degree another window. I can place it over here. So okay, this is the plan view. For that I can use this text option, single line, specify the start point, and I can specify the text height as let's say 50 units, angle of rotation 0, enter, and I can type plan. Okay. Now I can hatch the walls. For that I'm choosing the hatch option. This is too small. I can increase the size with properties. Height. I can give 200 or 300 say. Okay, that's enough. Now we can hatch the walls. I can use this hatch. Then I can change the color and I can, when you keep it over here, the scale is very less. I can increase the scale to let's say 3 units. I can even increase it to 5 units. That's okay. Then I can hatch all the walls. Okay. Now we need to draw the plinth. Plinth is present at a distance of 50 millimeter from the outer wall. For that I need to offset the outer wall to a distance of 50 units. Fifty on all four sides. Escape. Then I can use fillet. First object, second object, repeat fillet. Okay. Now I need to draw the projection of the roof, which is at the distance of 60 centimeter from the outer wall. So since our unit is in millimeter, you need to draw or you need to offset it to a distance of 600 units. Again, I am specifying the offset distance as 600, offsetting the outer wall. Be careful to offset the outer wall and not the plinth line. Okay, I can drag this downwards and use fillet again. Usually for projection lines, we use dotted lines. For that, let's select dotted line. If you don't have dotted lines, press other and click on load, and you can select the dotted lines. Okay. Then from here I can select the dotted lines. Before that I need to select the
നീ വരണ്ണെ ഞാൻ പ്രസവിച്ചതാണെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളെയൊക്കെ ഞാൻ സ്നേഹിക്കുന്നത് ഗോവിന്ദനെയാണ് അവൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടേ
okay, we
എനിക്ക്
got
മറ്റേ
the dotted lines.
ഗോവിന്ദന്റെ ഭാര്യയായി വരുന്ന ഗീതയെ ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ മകളെ പോലെ
And a
സ്നേഹിച്ചു
mic off you. Okay, thanks. Uh, so our plan is almost complete. If we want, we can draw the sunshade over the windows. For that, also we can use the dotted lines, and it can be given at a length of 300 units. For that, let me show one sunshade. I am starting from over here, then 300 units, again 300 units, then from this end, again 300 units, and I'm joining it over here, escape. This also I want dotted lines. I can have another dotted line if I want. Load. Okay. You can draw sunshade over here, here, and all. So our basic plan is ready. Now you need to label it. This room is of length 4000 into 3000. So I'm using text. The height of the text I've given us 500, right? 500. And uh, maybe not 500. Let's give 250. 250. And so 4000 into 3000. Bedroom. Okay. So this is our plan. Now we need to draw the section. For that I need to cut this plan. I am drawing a line over the door. We also need to draw the step. Before drawing the section, let's draw step over here for that line. Then I can draw step. Uh, give the length of the step as 250 units. 250. And I want continuous line from the door 250 and 250 and 250 and then again I can draw a step 250 two step 250. Okay, now I can trim off the plinth layer over the step. Okay, now the step is complete. Then okay, I forgot one thing. You need to draw lintel over the window also. um, in order to draw lintel over here, I need to remove all the hatch. Lintel is very important. So the length of the lintel is 10 centimeter. Here it's 100 units. Drawing line 100, enter. I can use mirror tool here. It's actually not necessary, but in order to show you how to use mirror, then I'm selecting mirror, selecting objects, these two lintel lines, then I'm enter. Specify first point of mirror as the center of this rectangle. So I got a lintel over here. Oh, again I'm repeating lintel. Okay, since my window is in different position, this won't work. I can copy the lintel, or I can even use the line tool and draw it. Now I can hatch it. Hatch. And so our plan is complete. Now we can draw this section. For drawing this section, I need to copy this plan and rotate it. Copy, select the base point, then I can rotate it, select. Before rotating, I am planning to cut it through the door, whether I can draw the cutting line and show it in another color line, cutting it through here, and I'm looking it to the right, whether I can draw arrows towards right, and I can hatch it, hatch. Okay, Now I'm viewing it to the right. So I need to rotate it. Rotate base point like this. Escape. I am cutting through this and I am viewing towards that side. I can draw extension lines. For extension lines, I can use construction lines. From the drop down menu on row, I can choose construction lines. Here I want vertical lines so that I can type V and enter. I can change the color. Construction lines, V, enter. The walls, one, two, then all four walls. Then if I'm looking through here, I can see this window. So I can draw that. Then that's it. Escape. I can draw a ground line. This is my ground line. I the superstructure that is above the ground I want to a height of 3 meters. That is 3000 millimeters. I can draw a line from the ground to a height 3000, and then I can trim off the rest. I can select and delete. I can trim, then I can select and delete. Okay. So for foundation part, I need to draw, I need to extend this to 50 units the side, then to 450 units downwards. Again here, from here 50 units, and the depth is 450 units. Again I'm repeating 9. I need to extend it to the side to a unit of 75 units. Then I want a depth as 600 units. This is the standard size of foundations. Then again 75 units to the side, and the depth is 600 units. This is the rubble masonry part of the foundation. Now I need to give the PCC. For that I need to extend it 150 units to the side and depth of 200 units. 150 to the side and 150 to the side and depth is 200. Okay. Now I can simply copy this to this wall also. Copy. Specify the base point and copy. Enter. So our basement is ready. Now I need to draw a line. So actually, this is the floor, and this one is actually the ground line. I need to extend it. This is actually the floor, so I can trim it off, and I can give the thickness of the floor, so that for that I can offset it to a distance of 25 units. That is the thickness of the floor, and I can trim the unwanted line. Now I need to provide the roof. For that, I need to extend it to a distance of 600. We gave a projection of 600 units over here. So I am extending it 600 units. Then again 600 units. 600 units. I'm joining it. So our roof is ready. So now we need to draw the door and window. I think our time is almost over. We can continue with the section as well as elevation in the next class. In tomorrow's class, we'll be drawing the plan of the twin house as well. And you need to try to draw the section and elevation. Once we complete the section and elevation of this one bedroom house, you get an idea of how to draw the section. And the elevation is very simple actually. So I think we'll discuss it in the next class. So, can we wind up? Do you have any doubt with regard to today's session?